Hello and welcome back to It's New. We're sorry, I'm back. Yes, it's me. But I come with swag, a notebook that says,
Hey.
Oh wow!
and
Oh,
this
you were
might
working
be
hard yesterday.
Oh
$150
boy!
like
Nah,
thing
I
that
thought I wasn't working hard. It was the kids in the sweatshop.
I'll never wear it probably, but you guys should. So
How are those
anyway,
tariffs treating you, by the way?
that's why they're so expensive. I don't know. We got to support the economy. I think I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not an economist.
You say we should support the economy. You're talking about we should buy merch from you.
Yes, just keep buying.
Yeah, we should support your economy, Barry.
Especially those unscented candles are very important to get you.
Yeah, it's old profit bricks over here.
Cheap SOB. Could have been sent the candles.
You do not want me to scent those candles. Trust me. Anyway, Mordy and Anu, I know you have an intro that you wanted to share at exactly the same time. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Of course. Say anything. I'll chime in because you want to hear from me, not Mordy. So yeah, people also consider labeling going wrong. More from Mordy. Yeah, Mordy would have done a better job. You should have chimed in.
I feel like I've been mislabeled.
All right, and Greg.
Google is testing linking reviews to AI overviews, and I give it 1 star.
Nice. And Google Search Console does not want you to discover desktop results. Yada, yada, yada. All right. I'm not sure who's going to lead this story. So Mordy or New, fight it off.
I know you can do the hard work of summarizing, and I'll just comment.
All right, let's do that. So yesterday, our dear friend, Glenn Gabe, he saw another testing from Google where people did a list of results. It's more like you doing more searches of results labeled people also consider, and that section is labeled sponsored. So it's like, is that sponsored section? Our lovely friend Ginny Marvin mentioned that it's not something that will be paid for. So that's a little bit confusing. And then when you click to it, you see more results. Yes, we're as confused as you might be right now. Glenn called it a bit of like a SERP inception, which I really liked because I really love that movie.
Mordy, before you do your comment, I just want to give a little history. So yeah, this started back in like February.
Yeah.
And I'm like, at first I'm like, this looks like a bug. It doesn't look like Google should be labeling these as sponsored. So I waited. Actually, I saw them back before then. And I'm like, Google, what is this? And Google didn't respond. And then we saw more people report them. So I'm like, this is not a bug. This is something Google's going on. And then Ginny Marvin, that response was very, very interesting. She said, 1, it's an experiment. 2, advertisers aren't paying for any clicks. 3, they're just labeled as sponsored because they're linking to commercial queries.
Yeah.
That's the part that makes me like, what?
Third part.
The third part, right? If I Google buy SU Roundtable sleep pants, should the whole SERP be labeled sponsored by Barry?
Yes, and buy those plans.
If they ranked. Sorry, buddy.
This is wild to me. I mean,
at what point?
Yeah, at what point do you like, all right, so commercial queries, they should all be, labeled as sponsored because people like Greg just stick ads everywhere.
Why did Google choose this hill to be like super ethical about like, well, eventually leads to a sponsored kind of environment, so we don't want to be misleading at all, and we'll call it sponsored. Like, when do they grow their ethical pair of
pants?
Pants.
Sleep pants.
Sleep pants. Oh god.
I just think this whole thing's confusing as can be. Because if I'm looking at the example that they had where like eucalyptus sheets or something, and then it's like, hey, look at the best bamboo sheets. And if I look at the sponsor stuff, I wouldn't think in a million years that I'm going to another Google search.
Yeah.
And at some point, like they have to think about the freaking user. And it just never, ever happens. And I understand some of these are commercial, but then say other like I think the sponsor thing is weird. I appreciate the fact that they came out and gave a statement on it. I don't think it's this crazy. I just think it's a bad look for users of Google. I don't think it's a bad look for them. It just is like so confusing.
She had to come out and say that. Like that sucks.
It took her months to come out and say that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess she was working on that statement. How many reviews would you give that, Greg?
I would give it absolutely 0 stars.
Wait,
I would give it a million reviews, all of them
What
being
was the
0
score
stars.
last night, Finn?
Oh, there's a game.
What was the score last night?
I didn't see. I didn't notice. I was watching
didn't
the
see?
Knicks.
15. Oh, that's a good one. 15-3. 15-3. Also, Glenn Gabe wants to know the size of your head.
I don't know what that is, to be honest with you.
Okay,
But
so let me know.
getting back to
And
the
I also want to know the size of your neck, but Glenn wants your head.
I don't know that either, sir. Is that something you're just supposed to know? The size of your neck?
If you're looking for
Get it right.
a
It's like, what is it? I would just about, yeah.
Okay, I'm giving Mordy 0-star
Oh.
reviews as well. And I'm also giving this new change 0 stars. So there was Todd Hayes, who has Hayes Digital Marketing. And he had spotted that when he was doing a search for his company, he saw in the local panel a new button that has reviews, and there's sort of like a little teeny star in the middle of the comment button there, or the review, which I would assume is their AI indicator. And when you go and you hit reviews, Morty, what are you looking for when a user is looking for reviews? What do you think you would get?
Somebody who got paid to use the product or service and who is now leaving a review for money.
Anu, what do you look for when you are clicking on a review for a company?
What their
I'm really looking for that.
experience, what the experience was.
That's what everybody's looking for. A freaking review from a third party. It was a huge deal when Google went out and bought Zagat and was like, hey, we have all this data now. And when you click on the review button for Hayes Digital Marketing, you get an AI overview that then has all these different elements that are being pulled from the website itself. There is an example here that says, clients appreciates Todd Hayes' professionalism, his ability to listen to their ideas, and his dedication to their success, according to Hayes Digital Marketing. That is not a review. That is a statement from the website. Why would anybody want a piece of content from the About page on the website? And how can you call that a review? It is not a review. That is a piece from the website, from the About section that just links right back to that. What planet is this a good experience for a user to have a piece pulled from the website calling that a review? Somebody tell me.
I asked AI Mode yesterday, is there a company called Unify Brand Marketing? And they're like, oh, here's what they do. Their approach, which they got exactly right, all from my website, because I have a great website, so I don't care. My website's great.
It's not a review.
I love that classic rage, Greg.
It's not a review. It's not a review.
Self-knowledge is the most important kind of knowledge.
It's not a review. I want a review for reviews. Put reviews in my reviews. What are we doing?
Morty,
Stop
even
yelling.
if they were paid reviews and you didn't know it, it would be better than this, to be honest.
It would be.
Yeah.
It would be. At least you'd be able to
would.
look at it and be like, this is nonsense. I'm going to go look at the 1-star reviews because all these 5-star ones are nonsense. And at least there might be
Yeah,
a
that's
whole
what I
bunch
do.
of 1-stars. If you go to Glassdoor, that's all it is. It's helpful because it's an actual review. What are we doing with this, people?
Got it. And then just
Greg
to
is
tease
right.
us, Greg is always right. Then to tease us, Google Search Console had a method, as you know, with Google Discover. Google kind of hinted that Google Discover is coming to desktop. They've been testing it for years. And then a bunch of Brody Clark and John Chihata noticed that if you add some URL parameters, it would actually break down the Discover report by mobile and desktop, showing you how much desktop traffic and impressions and so forth you're getting from it. Google got wind of this because they posted on social, and Google removed that feature. So you can't go ahead and see that now, which is upsetting. But I guess maybe, just maybe, it wasn't working right. Maybe it wasn't ready to go out. And I'm sure once Google releases the desktop version of Google Discover, they'll probably add a button to actually go ahead and filter by those types of features. But right now, that feature is gone, and you can't do it anymore. With that, John actually shared a bunch of findings based on 9.6 billion impressions. And of course, I'm not going to share these. I'm not going to share them. You go to John's post. I have it on Search Engine Roundtable this morning. But I'm not going to share it because I don't know if the actual results are actually correct because Google removed the feature and maybe it wasn't ready. Maybe it wasn't done yet. And keep in mind, Discover is not yet fully on desktop yet. It's just being tested. So it's really hard to tell based on this early data. Plus, we don't know if that data is actually accurate. So people are sharing this data as accurate, but we don't really know for sure. But it does tell us that probably Google will release a way to see Discover traffic on desktop in Search Console's performance reports.
I know this is going to sound cynical because it's the only way I know how to communicate
B.
words, but I'm genuinely curious. Like, what's the thought process that you wake up in the morning, you go, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add these parameters onto the end of the Search Console URL to see if this data shows up. I'm not being cynical.
No, it makes sense because Google announced officially that they are going to be coming out with desktop version of Discover. And somebody was like, wait a second, I know there's URL parameters in these performance reports to break out mobile and desktop. Why don't I just paste them into Discover?
That does make sense. Yeah, that's
most normal analytical people that think beyond, just putting reviews on their own website would actually think about this.
Yeah, whatever. Just whatever brings in the money.
I'm going to give John Shehata a 5-star review. What a delightful human being.
He is a delightful human being.
How
come not Brody? Wait. Why did you only say John and not Brody?
I don't know Brody.
Who's Brody?
Okay. That being said, I'm actually going to see John. I'm going to leave here after I post this video, which you all are going to subscribe to, love, and do all those other things. And then I'm going to go to SEO Week to see Mike King and Busta Rhymes, which I'm not staying for.
Hey.
Yeah. Oh, fun.
Real.
There's fun. I got to leave.
It's not real.
What time does the fun start? That's when I'm leaving.
I'm not out of there before Busta Rhymes gets on. And then, but John, I think, is speaking today. So he's going to share more data on this at SEO Week in New York City. So I'm headed out to the Intrepid. Going to give him my baseball cap, and I'm going to go. It's right by the Intrepid, I think. So
is that still there? The Intrepid's still there?
Yeah, it's not going anywhere.
I thought maybe it sunk.
It has not been sunk. No. Any event.
Sorry, I yelled, guys.
It's okay.
No.
More yelling, please. Love it.
Back tomorrow with more yelling. It's a May 1st tomorrow. Wow. Geez. Time flies when you're getting old.
Honestly.
Everyone have a great day. Speak to you guys later. Bye.
Time flies.